Evil Dose. He fucking trended. This guy blew up the fucking internet the other day. I was trying to get him in here today. He's over it. He's like, dude, I'm over it. He's like, if anything I do, he's like, if I do your show, it's for you. He's like, because I don't even care. He's like, this is just what I've heard. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, it's gonna be hilarious. I tweeted him. I tweeted with him. I was like, I personally disagree that I think they're gonna just end up on True TV or some shit. Right. But I was just like, if you're right, dude, it's gonna melt everyone. Like, it's gonna be fucking hilarious. Like, you're gonna be my new favorite. Like, you're gonna be a sore. I'm gonna hit you up every day, for info. But either way,
he's gonna love to hear that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, for sure. Because I put him over. Like, here's the thing: he speaks confidently. He's clearly an intelligent guy. He's not. It's just like you can question a source. That's with anybody, really. Right. If they don't tell you who it is. Mike Bailey hits a nice spin kick. But anyways, Evil Dose at Dose Evil, shut him out. A great guy, okay? And he's not being a hater. He could care less. He's just talking about what he thinks he knows. This is information he's trying to bring to the table. Why? Because this is what the he does. What's his show? The Hammerlock Headlines, correct?
Yes, Hammerlock Headlines, and he's also on with us every Tuesday at Tooney Talk Wrestling.
Tooney Talk Wrestling every Tuesday. So he's a guy that, he does a show and shit. He's not just fucking trying to be flagrant for no reason, right? This is what he does. So at Dose Evil says, my information is WBD AEW negotiations are going quite poorly. He's been saying this for months, dude. TK is out and a law firm is doing negotiations now. I think that's legit. TK wants ROH included and $250 million a year. And I could see that being legit too. WBD is not interested in ROH, and $250 million is almost 3 times the offer. I could see that being legit too. Like, none of that is so flagrant to where, like, he got tons of hate. He got people like putting him over too, but Dose got like a lot of fucking shit for this. 3 months was given to reduce the demand. That is almost up. And end of April. And then I also saw some tweets that Warner, something to do with like football or NBA, they had some sort of where they were it was like public, where they were like, yeah, the end of April, it's crunch time for the NBA or something like that. So people were pointing to that and saying, look, this is further evidence that Dose is right about these negotiations, because the end of April, well, that would line up with, because Dose was saying this before. Like, this tweet came out where some NBA insider was like, yeah, the negotiations are end of April or whatever. So with Warner or whatever. So it kind of backed him up, but I don't know. I think that's where he got the heat. I want your opinion before we dive into some of these responses here, because Brandon Thurston pipes in, he knows his shit, or Andrew Zarian as well, who Dose has been saying is wrong, been completely wrong on this. So I want to get into that. But first off, I just want your opinion. Like, why did he get so much heat for like this? Like, what was it about this that got everyone riled up? Just because it has to do with AEW and their negotiations?
I think, personally, because he doesn't have quite a large following as somebody like Andrew Zarian or even Meltzer, for that matter. And I think because of that, he's low hanging fruit to them. It's easy for him to get heat because of that. We're going to find out if he's right or not. But I talked to him extensively. I disagree with him on certain things that have no import here. But as far as the heat that he gets, it's so funny how he gets the heat and Andrew Zarian doesn't get any heat. Is it because Andrew Zarian is a young man and all? No. It's simply because that, Dose is not as well known, but he will be well known once he, if he's proven right.
This will be going to be for him. Yeah. And he's publicly said like Zarian's wrong on his shit, or I don't know where he's getting his info, but whatever. But not that he's trashed Zarian. He's never trashed him.
No.
But the thing is why doesn't Zarian get heat for the shit? Is it because Dose is saying, oh, WBD is going to walk away, so people are getting triggered, whereas Zarian's saying, no, they have the deal, or it's been done, or it's going to get done? Why? Because one's positive and one is like seemingly negative. I just feel like it's some of that too. Like, people are just triggered because it's like, oh, what? No, AEW get a deal and shit. And it's like, well, it's not like he's, but like you said, it's a small following, but his sources, if he's correct in what it is, like
I'm going to try to get him on right now. I'm talking to him now.
Yeah. Okay, great. Because I sent him the link, and earlier in the day I was like, "Will you come on tonight and talk about this?" And he's like, "You're a brave man." And I'm like, "Look, dude, I just want to talk about the shit. We're not breaking news. I'm not trying to break no news here. I just love hashing the shit and speculating. And I like digging around and poking around, and I have friends who tell me shit that I don't just like say out on the show, unless someone said, so it's all good. Like it's not even about that for me. You guys already know, like, we make fun of the sheets here. It's just a matter of like, he's claiming this shit. It's spicy. Let's talk it out. I'll have Zarian on too, and they can debate it right here. Like I've
got a question for you. What compels you to believe that they're going to True TV?
Because True TV was there. Warner was talking all this shit about True TV, and me and Marv have talked about this off podcast a bunch. We agree on this fully. Fucking True TV is hyping up that it's going to be sports and entertainment. So to me, I'm like, they're just, like, they're going to focus more sports and entertainment, like sports entertainment, reality type shows we'll see on there. So why not just move AEW to True TV, or at least like Rampage and Collision will go there. And because here's the whole thing too, I've heard shit about like they're not interested in Collision or Rampage, but they're interested in Dynamite and the pay-per-view business like model that they have going, or whatever, like business, and that they want to get in on that. Well, we should read what Zarian and Thurston and them say. If we can we'll read it, and if you can get Dose in here, that'd be great. You can just send that link to him, or I can send him one. I DM'd it to him earlier. Tell him I sent him one in the
gotcha
on X there, folks. Yeah, I just want to double check that I did. I'm like certain I did, but I don't want to open my Hardcore Pawn. Wasn't that on True TV? Yeah, that's what I mean. But guys, it could go on True TV. Like that's a real thing, and it's not a clown moment, like clown AEW for that, but it kind of is funny. Like, what are they going to do with their TNT and TBS titles? The True TV title. Like to me it's kind of funny, but
they'll just drop them.
Yeah, and like I could see Dynamite staying on the main network, and then the rest of everything else going to True TV, and I could see them passing on Ring of Honor. That's my personal opinion of what I think is going to happen. So I don't know, and if they're not interested though, I wouldn't be shocked either. I would honestly applaud those. I would just be shocked, because then it would just validate everything Dose has been saying. So yeah, and some people are saying AEW will end up on Amazon Prime. Yeah, there was talk of like Roku channel, like they could end up. I heard Dose say that actually. He said something about, dude, like something on with Roku, because like TNA's on there, WWE's got shit on there. But either way, so Evil Dose says he reported yesterday. Okay, so Dan the Don tagged Zarian, and then Dose responded and said, he reported yesterday third parties were negotiating for AEW. I reported a law firm was a week ago Tuesday, and on 2 podcasts last week. Dose did say that the law firm. Now, he's not the only person who said that. I'm pretty sure like 83 Weeks has covered that. I'm pretty sure that's floating around like that. A law firm stepped in to do the negotiations instead of Tony, like, or at least he appointed one or something. Now, does that mean WBD can't negotiate with Tony because he's such a dumb fuck? No, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt that maybe he was advised better, and this time around maybe it's like a bigger deal where he's actually listening to someone in his ear, maybe, who was like, or maybe his dad was like, please let the attorneys handle this one, or whatever. You know
let the grown-ups talk.
Yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, like, I don't think Tony's fully incompetent. I just, because it's just really the problem with AEW's creativity and booking and shit, and that's all like creative, Yeah, you can crunch numbers, but is he creatively up to snuff? I say no, so that's just me. Right. But anyways, Andrew Zarian responds to Dose. Now they're flexing each other's dates back and forth. It's very normal to have someone do your negotiations. It's not indicative of anything negative. Right. So chill though, Zarian, because he didn't say, unless Dose said other shit I'm not aware of, but like, what's so negative? Like, Dose is just backed in this corner. I guess he is the Garden of Doom. And he's an evil cephalopod. Yes. But either way, it's like, he's not saying all this other shit because lawyers are are involved. Like I don't know. I just feel like people took this too personally. Your opinion, Andrew, and just a gut feel. Do they get anywhere close to 250? I don't know an exact number and don't want to speculate without seeing data to back it. Brandon Thurston is a better person to ask. So Zarian actually tagged Thurston. Shout out Thurston, because he is like the best guy to ask in this regard. I feel like he knows his numbers and like he analyzes them. It's what he does. I can't sit there and say I analyze how many dollars are coming in and out. I can just sit there and look objectively and go, okay, the smart people are saying AEW lost $150 million and they just signed Mercedes Moné and shit, and their video game flopped. So they're losing money. It's safe to say their buildings are not full. I don't have to be a fucking rocket scientist to figure that out. But Thurston crunches the hard shit. He's able to predict, like numbers are a lot. There's a lot of shit involved in that, and he's an expert at this. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I don't even know what the fuck all this means. But 250 million AAV seems to be on the high end of realistic. Maybe reasonable ask to take all content and keep them from going open market. So what he's saying is 250 million from Warner would let them keep all the content, and then they can't go to the open market. So, but he's like, that even seems like high end of realistic. Like, it's realistic, but it's not. That's not what I would say. Figure around 75 million. So that's way fucking lower.
Yeah,
250 that Tony's asking for. So that's sort of, I don't know if that's like, if Warner's spitting these same numbers, no, we'll give you 80 million. Then Dose is right about that. So what is negative? Like, he's just saying the truth, in my opinion. So if he's right, streaming will be some part, absolutely, which adds some incremental content to be dealt. Next day rights, maybe Spanish language can be minor supplements. See, he's factoring all this shit nobody even thinks about. See little value in ROH externally, zero value in ROH right now. And if so, internally, it functions as a strategic distraction and justification to invest in more expense with little return. So, like, basically Tony hustling them out of a little bit more money, if it's or Warner looking at it that way. UTA made WWE's 2014 deal. CAA made WWE's 2018 deal. Endeavor makes other properties deals. Given Tony's involvement with AEM, would be very surprised if they're not involved. Given there's less than a year left and no deal, so less than a year of the TV rights left and no deal, I'd interpret as differences that won't be resolved until supply and demand reveals their fair value. So he's just saying, in more words, what the fuck Dose was saying, I feel like. I'm sorry. This is the way I'm taking it. Maybe I'm wrong. Like, what was Dose saying?
This is not looking good for AEW.
This is what I mean. Like, Thurston's definitely, he's saying negotiations are going poorly. The motherfucker's over here going, there's a year left and there's less than a year and it's not done. So I would say that the differences that won't be resolved, that's what Dose said in just less words, guys. Okay, stop. Until supply and demand reveals their fair. Okay, I guess July 1. So he's saying April, May, June, July. So he's giving them 3 more months, because it leaves around 6 months. Maybe AEW would trade WBD more stake too. So he's just saying flat out they have stake in the company. So I guess Thurston confirms right here on PWT. No, I'm just kidding. Would complicate evaluating the success of a deal further, assuming a number is reported. Who would be the other suitors? NBCU, CW, Netflix seem off the table. Paramount, M&A, Turmoil, TKO, Disney seem to close that door. Yeah, none of them are investing in AEW. Maybe Fox or FS1. Fox, I don't think will do wrestling again. I believe Prime bid for SmackDown, but not strongly. So maybe Amazon, AEW on Apple TV, like eating Burger King on Fine China and with minimal reach.
Where's TNA on?
They're on like Access TV, but Anthem owns Access TV. So it's not like they're going to give up a slot for fucking TNA. Do you know? Or I mean, AEW. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're not going to buy for them. They look at them probably more like competition. But yeah, either way, man, they're just talking about throw some darts, maybe a 3-hour Dynamite for 120 million.
Somebody said PBS. Like, come on now. That's awesome.
Collision Rampage to Fox FS1 for 25 million. Streaming rights, pay-per-view library next day to WBD Max 40 million. And ROH stays on Honor Club. I just think that's too. Yeah, I think now Thurston's saying that's too high to do all those different things, but it could summate in close to like that higher. That's his speculation on if it is that higher realistic end. So he kind of validates both guys here, right?
Right.
Dose is just speaking confidently, I think. So where does the 75 million come from? I'll cede 50 million for Dynamite, Rampage, and Battle of the Belts per first contract where numbers were announced and escalators built in. Okay, now that's where Dose, I don't know what you're saying now, because I'm going to go with Thurston a little bit more on the number side because he's really in the shits like that. Not saying you're not, though. You could prove me wrong on that, but yeah, I don't know, dude. Just interesting, and I'm compelled to say the least. And even if, though, guys, even if AEW gets the 250 million, they lost like 153 million last year or something. Okay, so does that mean they made 100 million? I don't think so, because look at all their contracts and shit. Like, I don't want to speculate, but it wouldn't shock me if you told me he pays 100 million in salaries or whatever the fuck it is every year. Like they're talking about NBA level contracts for the Bucks. That's what they talked about for real. So what does that mean? 50 million? Like, what the fuck does that mean? You know, like, so that could mean like a wide number there, you know? So, and I'm,
well, remember, these two knuckleheads didn't really see a big check until AEW. So they, you know, an AEW, an NBA contract also could mean something like 5 million, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Something small.
And so that's what I mean, though, 5 million, but still think about, so if he's paying 5 million to both each Bucks, let's say, and then I bet you they each get 5 million a year. I bet you Punk. Well, what did Punk get? Didn't he get like 9 million over his time that he was there? That was like the number someone came up with.
Yeah, that was the number floating around. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, right there, and then you look at, okay, what is he paying Moxley? What is he paying Edge? What was he paying Sting? What is he paying fucking all these MJF? What is he paying Joe? What is he paying
everybody? What's he paying the motherfuckers that just sit there in catering?
Yeah, what is he paying Motor City when they come in? What is he paying FTR, each of FTR? Like, you know,
that's the most
7 figures in your bank, dude. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Will
hard,
Ospreay. I mean, he is so happy to be getting whatever he's getting. Okada, all these guys.
I just don't think this is a big deal, no matter what money they get, guys. It's just not a big deal, whatever they're. And I'm not trying to just shit on it because it's AEW. It's the truth. Like, not to compare, I guess, to WWE, but that's what we do. But WWE, billions, you know, in the billions.
Really.
For like Netflix and all this sort of shit, and just innovative. And we saw AEW on Dynamite. They copied the WWE long entrance ramp around the ring, camera shot, and they're copying all that shit, and it's cute. But the thing is like they should have been the ones innovating those things and doing those things before WWE had the fucking chance to do them. And now they're it's like them just copying is what it feels like. But what do you make of all of this streaming deal, all of this Doses shit here with Zarian and Thurston? I want your thoughts, Awful. Give me, just sort of wrap it up in a bow for us.
How I see it is that we're going to find out everything come May 15th. May 15th is the WBD upfronts.
Yep.
That's when they give access to, you know, the media and journalists, and they tell us and give us the rundown of their shows for the next year or two. And if AEW is not a part of that lineup, it's going to be something. And that's, for me, as a person who has to really do diligence on this type of shit, I can't really speculate. I don't want to speculate. I mean, it's fun to do, but like May 15th is the day that I've got marked on my calendar. If AEW, if there's no representative for AEW there, if there is no hint of AEW, for example, my friend, they're not on, you know, they're on the WBD website. I made mention of this in a tweet. Like their contact is not there. Sure, they've got the media releases and all that, but there's nothing to do with AEW really on the WBD website. And let's forget about the entirety of this. You know, hey, the new press release says that AEW is doing great. That means nothing. That doesn't mean anything. Come May 15th, we're going to find out the truth of everything.
Yeah, so it's weird. We got people saying the end of April. We got people saying July. You're saying May 15th. So I don't know, man. Tons of stuff to talk about on PWT, and that's what I love. We have Jess. Damn, how much early inheritance did Chad give Tony? Seems like everything he does just bleeds money. Yeah. And that's, I think everyone was like, he'll dump $1 billion into wrestling. That's sort of my joke. Like, he'll dump $1 billion. Like, if I could, I'd dump $1 billion into wrestling too, guys. So I'm not hating on him for that. I never will. But what I am hating on him for is, like, at the start, I gave him the chance to show us, like, no, he's this creative guy who's going to save the wrestling world. But when it didn't become that, it's like, you got to hire people better than you to do this shit. I don't know. It's weird to me too. Like, they popped the rating for the Punk Jack Perry fight. Why didn't they do that on the Go Home show? Why'd they do it the week before the Go Home?
Bad episode of Big Bang Theory, perhaps. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, the interest level in the Punk scenario, in the Punk footage, all came from online. I know all those people that watched that particular segment. You know, they came from online, because the advertisement to the rest of the world mentioned nothing about Punk. I think, if I remember correctly, the advertisement was just like, and coming up, backstage footage from All In, never before seen. Well, that's not going to draw in any goddamn viewers, but everybody online knew what it was about. But now that they blew their wad on that footage, people were just like, not only that, they were pissed off about the footage. They knew it wasn't going to work. So why tune in next week?
Yeah, and it's just weird too, because it featured a New Japan guy and a fucking WWE guy as well, which is just it's just insane. It's just crazy. It did no one any good.